Welcome at It's Never Too Far Away. In this video I'm traveling through Sao Paulo International Airport. My incoming flight was a LATAM 777 from London, which arrived at one of the older piers at Sao Paulo at Terminal 2. Also at Terminal 2 I then departed and arrived back on domestic flights. Finally, I departed from the much more new and cool part, International Terminal 3. So, once again, this is the new Terminal 3. Then here on the right I arrived, and these are the two piers of Terminal 2 in which I stayed. International arriving passengers are guided through this corridor, which allows nice views of the aircraft parked here, and which leads into the terminal building where immigration formalities are handled. This is actually the view across to this pretty low concourse and Terminal 3 behind it. Even though it was the morning arrival rush hour, immigration was a very quick affair. Baggage belt area. And another corridor leading out. And welcome to Sao Paulo. As you can see, this area is a bit dated with its low ceilings, so typical to many rather old arrival facilities around the world. And here's the terminal map. My view from the plane starts with the red New International Terminal 3, then in orange the two piers of Terminal 2, plus in blue Terminal 1. But where is that flat pier that we also saw? I took a short view to the street side, but my task was to find the way to departures Terminal 2. In general, the signs at the airport are good, but for some minutes I was confused and followed a route that proved to be wrong. Finally, on the right way, I had to pass through the old terminal building on departures level. The design, of course, is a bit old, but there's a good feeling of sufficient space. The toilets here are again not fancy, but the room is large. Then came some shops and restaurants, and then came another large hall and an identical atrium at the other end. I decided to take another breath of real fresh air before heading to security check. I think this is a good example of clearly marked. Looking at these lines, I guess I was lucky. Indeed, getting in didn't take too long. I found myself in a windowless corridor which was in between the two piers of Terminal 2. In this area, people are standing in front of the departure information boards and it can be a bit crowded to get through. When walking towards either pier, ceilings are higher and the feeling is more like in an old mall. So, where was I? I was between these two piers. On the right, the part cut out is international, where I had arrived. Now I was going into the pier on the left and then into the domestic part of the pier on the right. Another example of clearly marked. Finally, between the shops, some apron view before heading into the pier. The pier begins with shops, then come the first gates. Once again, very clear marking of which gate numbers are located here. Sao Paulo is a big and busy airport, so these clear markings are essential and well done. Once inside the pier, there are many points from where great views of the busy apron and also one active runway can be had. Already from the outside, it was clear that this terminal building is not exactly new. However, it does have a positive ambience inside, and for sure, it had been designed at times when less capacity was needed, yet this is not immediately obvious. To be more clear, I am giving a very positive verdict, even though this part of the airport is rather aged. As I love to travel and as I love to hang out at airports, right here I could spend all day. The two dominant domestic airlines are LATAM and GOL. We'll now have a look across the apron between Terminal 2 and 1, which you see on the left. Earlier the scene was dominated by LATAM and a little bit later it was dominated by GOL. Now going to the other one of the two piers. The entry is a bit narrow. That is because the pier is split in two sides. Behind this glass divider is the international side where I had arrived. Therefore, apron view is only to one side here. Things were fine here too, but I do like the other pier better. Probably coincidence, but the toilet here was also really stinky. Still, as I said, all in all, I really liked my time here. I could have easily stayed longer, but I had to catch my flight to Rio. Back in Sao Paulo, I arrived at the end of that pier that is split into two sides. Even though this was a domestic arrival, passengers still had to go through a corridor all the way to the beginning of the pier close to the exit. Currently I'm at the domestic terminal number 2 in Sao Paulo, where I just arrived on LATAM Airlines, so I'm transferring now to Copa International. I went downstairs through baggage claim to the exit. My connection was departing from the international terminal, and I followed the signs to T3. It was a pretty long walk. This long corridor was followed by quite a few left turns and right turns. Finally, I came into this hall and I thought I had arrived until I realized it was still a couple of steps more. Once there, it was a change in time as I found myself in a much more modern check-in hall. On the left you see the massive terminal building with the actual pier in the foreground on the right. I checked in with Copa Airlines of Panama as my next destination was Miami. A big, modern check-in hall with lots of space. The entrance to security check was again very clearly marked. Once through security check and passport control, I found myself in a huge modern mall. It was already approaching midnight, and actually this place is open 24/7. On the upper level behind high glass there are a couple of large lounges. They are super cool and they are also open 24/7. The washrooms were of course also of nice design and they offered enough space, but they were actually not in a good shape. This corridor connects the terminal building and its shopping mall with the departures pier. Just before actually entering, a window allows a view to the apron. One right turn and I walk into the pier. As you can see, this absolutely is a world-class, very nice international concourse. Huge windows allow great views to the action outside. Only it was after midnight and dark at the time of my visit. As I'm publishing this video, I'm actually totally excited because in as little as 2 weeks from now I'll be passing through this great terminal again. My plane was now already there. Departure time 1:40 in the morning. Not at all a quiet time. That concludes my tour of Sao Paulo International Airport. As always, thanks for watching. And don't forget, it's never too far away.